Hello Ninja Allegiance, Chase here, and I am back once again with my co-host,
Emily.
And we have our second guest today. Today we have Isaac Blackburn. Welcome, Isaac.
Hello.
Isaac, how long have you been doing Ninja?
About 2 years, 2.5 years.
How'd you get into it?
Michelle Warnke went to, like a youth group thing at my church. And then I went to a birthday party at Movement Lab. And then I just started going there.
Yeah. Did you find the process quick or painful?
Well, it was pretty quick, but it was also pretty painful. Destroyed my hands a million times. And then I was like, okay, my hands are not liking this.
Did you do any sports before Ninja to help you with it?
I did fencing, which
that's cool.
I guess kind of helps, but you don't use a lot of the same muscles or anything. So I was pretty active, I would say, which helped get into Ninja.
So you've always been athletic? It wasn't just a one-off?
Yeah, at least since I was a teenager. I wasn't very athletic as a kid.
So you actually helped to test in Indianapolis, is that right?
Yeah.
So how'd you get into that?
I actually don't really know. I guess my boss, Michelle, told whoever's in charge of testing that I was a good candidate for testing. So then he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, do you want to test? You can come test in Indy for these days. And I was like, sure. But I think a big part of it was the fact that Michelle was like, hey, this person is a good fish person at Ninja Team.
Yeah, and Michelle's one of those people that can definitely get you the hookup if you need it.
Yeah, she has a pretty big sway on the show. She's pretty up there.
Yeah, and what was the testing experience like in Indy?
It was awesome. It was also freezing cold, which, it's good motivation not to fall in the water. But, you watch the show on TV and you're like, oh, the weather's probably fine. They're probably, doing great, 70 degrees or something. But when you go and you either watch the show or you, live or you test, it's 40 degrees out and you're shivering with your sweatshirt on. And then you see them, shirtless running through and you're like, man, you've got to be frozen. But, yeah, so I actually got to go to a more exclusive, quote-unquote, testing group on Friday, which was only, 20 people maybe, instead of 50 or whatever. So I got to get on a lot of stuff. And then I guess I did pretty well because they have these top tester stickers that they give out every day. And I got one of those the first day, which was pretty sweet. So I was I had just turned 18 the week before. You have to be 18 to test. So I was the youngest person ever to get a top tester sticker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How was, what did you get to play on?
I got to play on, I don't know what they're actually called. We called it the pill poppers. I think it was the spin hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it had the red pill looking things that spun around. That was the first thing I got on. And the first thing I tried on it was to climb up it double steps, hand over hand. And it didn't work at all. So the first thing I basically ever did in relation to the show American Ninja Warrior was fall on an obstacle.
How cold was the water?
It was, so that was Friday. The water was decently warm, and it was probably 65 degrees out, so it wasn't terrible.
No, not too bad.
But then on Saturday, it dropped down to like 50 degrees, and the water actually had some ice on it.
Ooh.
Like when we were first doing course runs on Saturday, someone pointed out that there was a thin layer of ice over one of the pools.
Wow. And, I mean, during the runs, because I was watching that, it was way colder at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was. It just gets colder, too. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so you think of, like, an Evan Dollar, Justin Conway running around shirtless. You don't want to fall.
No. But I also think that kind of helps motivate some people. Like, you don't want to fall in the water because you don't want to get hypothermia. So you got to get through the obstacle.
Was there anything else that you got to play around on?
I think at one point or another I got to do all of the obstacles for Indy. I got to play on the back half too. So I got to do the salmon ladder into the clackers, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to do candy cane lane, which was really hard but tons of fun.
Was there ever a point where you got to do like a whole course run, like on the show?
I did, but it was the last day of testing, and I had just, like, when I did the club hoppers, the last time I did it, so just like the second to last thing I did, I like pulled my bicep, and then, so when I tried to do the full course run, I did the cannonball drop, and it just like jolted my arm, and I fell. So I got through the class steps on my full course run, but that was not very impressive.
So in relation to different gyms, how easy or hard are the obstacles? Even like the height stuff and how hard the mechanics are for each one compared to different gyms that you've tried them out at?
It's actually, like, all the obstacles are surprisingly handmade, I guess you could say. Like, they have people resetting them. They don't have them all automated. Sometimes they'll, like, flip off a track or something, and someone's got to go up there and fix it or something. So it was kind of interesting to see, because when you watch the show, you figure everything's got to be automated. They got to have robots doing all this stuff, but it's not.
Yeah, and I think because it's going for $1 million too, you really can't have machines doing all this because if something goes wrong or like if it rains and it breaks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone's kind of curious, how easy is that 14.5-foot wall?
It's, well, it depends on if you're running, like for real, or if you're testing, because when you're testing, they just kind of throw it up, and then, because, like, all the shipping and all the construction, it's super dusty, so it's like running on ice, basically. But during the show, they wipe it down pretty often, so it's not as dusty. I don't actually know how hard it is or easy it is when it's clean, but it was pretty tough in testing.
Was it curved a lot, or was it more like straight up and down?
It was pretty curved. It was, I'd say it's actually really similar to the one that we have at Movement Lab, if you've ever been there. It's not really, really steep. There's a pretty good gradual curve up to it.
It's pretty like balanced out on the steepness and the curve.
Definitely. And then the mega wall is just ridiculously huge.
And was that on the dusty surface?
It was,
Dang.
which I'm sure didn't help, but even so, it was just so tall.
So he probably could have made it with one try if it was went down a lot.
Possibly.
Do you think the... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go.
Do you think the salmon ladder was easier than at other gyms, too, with the pulley system and the weight of the bar?
Yeah, so they had the bar really well weighted, and the runs were actually pretty sticky, so it didn't feel like I was gonna fly off backwards or anything. But it's really, really loud. Like you wouldn't think of that as something when you're watching the show, but it's made out of hollow metal. So when you hit it, it's like a gunshot right next to your head.
Yeah, and that's what our salmon ladder at the edge kind of sounds like. It's like really, really noisy.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
I was at Ultimate Ninjas, and they were saying that ATS, the people that build the shows course, they built their salmon ladder. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I jumped on it, and the first time I did it, my ears were popping from it.
Yeah.
Was it kind of that feeling on the show, too?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, just to see how everything works when you actually get out there and try everything.
Yeah, were there any obstacles that you looked at and went, there's no way, this is impossible?
The first iteration of the candy cane lane, so how they originally had it was there was the S-track, and then there was the downslide. So the first time that anyone got on it, there was no stoppers or anything on the S-track, and it was like a 4-foot transfer from the S-track to the downslope. So you had to build up a pretty decent swing on the end of the track, but there was nothing to keep the cane from sliding off. So as soon as you would try to build up the swing, the cane would just fly off. And I'm pretty sure no one got it when it was like that, because it was just ridiculously hard.
Yeah, and they have made a ton of changes to obstacles in the past before the runs. Were there any obstacles besides the canes that went through like 7 changes to make sure it was possible?
They actually had to make I don't even know what it was called. It was the third obstacle, where you had like 2 wheels that were connected.
Oh, yeah.
They made that one quite a bit harder after testing. So before, there was no mud flaps on top. I think that was what they were calling them. So you didn't have to knock anything out of the way to flip them. It was just super smooth and pretty light. But then they added the mud flaps, which made it a lot harder.
Did it change that much from it? Because watching it, it looked like pretty much everyone breezed through it. Do you think that actually had a big effect on it?
I think it did, but I'm not as heavy as a lot of competitors. So when I did it, I kind of had to, like, you have to twist the wheel, but then when it hit the thing, I had to, like, really jump on it to get it past the flap.
When are you going to be old enough to go on the show?
I will be this year.
Are you going to commit?
Yep. I'm currently working on my video, or not currently, because I'm talking right now, but I'm working on my video, hoping to send it in this week or next week maybe, and then hopefully they'll pick me, because that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you also got to test in Vegas, too.
I did, and Philly. Philly wasn't as good for me, though.
So you just want to skip by Philly?
Yeah, we don't talk about Philly.
All right, will do.
Yeah, I did test in Vegas.
How was that like compared to the different cities?
That was kind of more humbling, I guess. It was really cool. But you get out there, and there's, like, I think there was probably 75 ninjas, like all of the best ninjas in the country. Like, even some of the top ninjas, like the really famous ninjas from the show who didn't make it through qualifying or finals, you go and you just see them all just sitting, hanging out, waiting for the course to be set up or whatever, and then getting to see all them run through the obstacles. It's pretty sweet.
Was there anyone that really stood out?
Well, I was kind of just like sitting there looking at the obstacles and whatnot, and then Isaac Caldera just walks over and just sits next to me. He's like, "Hey." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's pretty cool." And then I got to see Grant McCartney do a test run of stage 3. And I was like, wait, because I hadn't seen the show or anything. I was like, wait, he didn't make it through? That's really surprising. There are kind of a lot of spoilers, because you don't get to, like, you get to see who made it and who didn't to Vegas. But it's still really cool.
Yeah, and with the spoilers, because I was there this year, too, and so I saw the winner, and for those of you that haven't seen it, spoiler alert, Dreschel got the farthest the fastest, but it was one of those things where I hadn't seen his finals run, so we all kind of expect them to make it, but you see it, the run order, and you're like, okay, cool, he made it. But there's also looking around, because all the ninjas are running around, and often the run order gets leaked out because it just spreads like wildfire when someone gets it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and there were some names that I'm like, how did they not make it? I'm like,
Yeah.
Grant, not here. What? Torres. Where's Torres on here? You know, and I was going through, and I'm like, where are half of these people? And who are half of these people on the list? You know, and you really get to see some of the names that aren't aired on TV that are still insanely good.
Yeah.
What did you get to...
Like anything can happen.
Yeah. What did you get to play on in Vegas?
I got to do Dorito Dash, or, what's it called? The Archer Steps. I got to do those a few times. Like, kind of test the different versions of it. And those were pretty cool. They're pretty tricky. They actually knocked out a lot of people, which was surprising, because, like, it's the first obstacle. You don't really expect many people to fall on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to test the hook and release, catch and release.
Deja Vu?
The first one in stage 2, where you swing, it's kind of like a sideways.
Oh, yeah.
And you gotta lock it into a thing.
Is it Deja Vu?
No, it's the one before Deja Vu. I forget what it's called.
Mm.
I got to test that one, and I think those are the only ones I tested in Vegas. But you don't really expect to test a lot in Vegas, because there's so many ninjas, and they're all so good. Like, it's hard to...
Was it kind of a competitive atmosphere for who got to run what?
I don't know.
So how are testing obstacles determined? You know, how do you get chosen to test an obstacle?
So in the city, like the city qualifying testing and the city finals testing, you kind of just form a line
Do you have any questions for us, Isaac?
What does Ninja Allegiance have anything planned for the future? Like any events or any live streams or anything? I don't know.
Well, one thing that I'm wanting to do with the podcast, since we are on the podcast, is doing a prediction show for the NNL finals. So kind of getting as many people as we can together, and just making predictions for teams, young adults, and the adult divisions. I mentioned this on the last podcast a little bit, but there's talk between me and Morosky about possibly getting him on, either the podcast or doing just a tips and tricks video of whatever he wants. I'm going to try and get a few ninjas to be able to be on the podcast. Just kind of top name ninjas.
Sweet.
Other than that, at before competitions and stuff, me and Rachel Brown did this one time, but I think we can easily do this again with a ton of different members. But for open gyms, kind of live streaming that and uploading that to YouTube, or putting that on the end of videos, so that way you can kind of see us training. But other than that, there's not a ton of plans besides just keep uploading the YouTube videos, the tips and tricks stuff, getting feedback from you guys, the listeners. And if you guys have any ideas, please let us know, whether it's through Instagram or YouTube or the rating system and the podcast. However you want. We look at all those. We listen to you guys. We work on stuff. Do you guys have any ideas of what you'd like to see in the future?
Well, I think it would be cool to do kind of a day in the life video for all the members. Kind of just basic training stuff, and then what do you do at the gym, and then do you have this super special diet of just coconuts or something? Just kind of the boring daily life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How you be a ninja. Kind of neat to see how everyone does it different.
I think it'd be cool to also get us all together and do a video, because I know a lot of us are going to be at nationals, so that'd be cool if we could all film one together, because we are one big group, so it'd be nice to do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, nationals, if we can do it and almost everyone's there, which I think we'll have just about everyone, if not everyone, at nationals. I'm thinking of doing something with it. I'm not sure what yet, but something.
Yeah.
Is there a separate national finals for teens or preteens and then adults, or is it the same?
It's the same everywhere. Yeah, it's all the same weekend. I think it's 5 days for all the age groups, doing stages 1 through 3. So we're all going to be in Hartford at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know this is a little overboard, but I know that you are just by Pies Mover, right,
Mm-hmm.
Chase?
Yes.
It'd be cool if we had Ninja Allegiance, where I guess because I know Wolfpack Ninjas has a bunch of that, and I think if we got Ninja Allegiance stuff, it kind of boost the YouTube channel and all that.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that I'm trying to work on a little bit now, kind of behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to say anything to get people too excited, but I'm trying to work something out with Travis about getting our own specialty ninja pants, or maybe doing a giveaway where he makes either a specialty pair or just hands out 1 or 2 pairs to a couple of winners or something, or we each get pants, just everyone in Ninja Allegiance.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, and then it will kind of, when people ask us, oh, where'd you get those, we can be hey, this is Ninja Allegiance, and it kind of will inform people in different ways.
Yeah. And one thing, too, is that might be good to work on a little bit is different merch, like maybe shirts or hats or something, and getting like a small online store?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just something we can work on so that it won't be just something like, hey, I'm subscribed to these guys. You know, you can go to school or whatever and be like, hey, what shirt are you wearing? Me? Oh, I'm just wearing my Ninja Legion shirt. And Isaac, you actually designed our logo and small intro clip to our videos.
Yep.
So what was the process of making that, if there was one?
Well, it was kind of, I was thinking, like, we have this group, but it doesn't have any branding.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking it kind of needs some branding just to give it a face, if you will. But then I was just kind of sketching out some ideas for what it might look like or whatever. And then I had the idea of just the A with the ninja face kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit me, and I was like, hey, that'd be a pretty cool design, maybe. So then I just drew up a really quick sketch in Photoshop and sent it out to all the members. I was kind of like, hey, what do you think? And then everyone was like, hey, that's neat. So then I just went through some revisions.
Yeah, and
then it just kind of evolved from there into a decent logo.
yeah, it was actually a fairly fun process too. 'Cause I think, Emily, you were the one that, in the group chat, because we all have a group chat, that I think you said that we need a logo, and Isaac kind of jumped on and was like, I got you. And then we worked through it with him posting in the group chat and us going, all right, we like this, but you should probably change this. Or we want this and we want this, but we don't want this. You know, we kind of worked through it, and then we did like polls on Instagram to see which logos we liked the best, you know, because we were going between like the teal and the red, you know, and going through that, and we were getting everyone's opinions besides just our own to make sure everyone was happy.
Yeah, and I think like logos are like something that people like notice. Names, not so much, but when you see a logo, you're like, oh my god, I know who those people are, I know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing too is if you look at whether it's a group or a business or something, and they don't have a logo, it's like, oh, they're not going to get a logo?
Yeah, it just seems like really sketchy, because you're like, oh, is it an actual thing, or is it just something that some kid tried to do at some point? So them giving it a logo kind of gives it some face, some reputability.
Yeah, it makes it more official. How are you guys liking Ninja Legion so far? Do you think it's running smooth?
Yes.
I think so. It's pretty cool just to be able to like see a bunch of other younger ninjas, and then just see what they do and some of the crazy stuff that they do. And then just be able to kind of talk to them occasionally, see how, like, what's going on in different parts of the ninja world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we have members from kind of all across. You know, we have our Midwest area, which is kind of us. Then we have the New England area, you know, where we got Mike and Pardo and Aiden and other people. And then in the South, we have, like, Rachel and Elijah. Then out West, we have Ryan. You know, Denver, we have Caden. You know, we have these people all over the place. I think it's, for me anyways, I don't know how everyone else has been affected by it, but for me, I've gotten way closer to a lot of these people and kind of gotten to know them personally rather than just following them on Instagram and seeing their posts occasionally.
Yeah, and I think it's cool too, though. We watch the show and we look at how great these athletes are, but we watch Ninja Legion, so we get to see the kind of behind the scenes and how Ninja really is. Like, it's not all about the show, it's a real sport out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, too, one of the reasons why when I got the idea for it, it was more just, hey, we should have a place where the next generation, you know, we can kind of express who we are and how good we are, because I know that a lot of us are even better than the pros. You know, Caden just made a post of him going up in the adult finals versus Jamie Ron in a cliffhanger climbing contest, and he almost beat Jamie Ron in that. It's one of those
Wow.
things where we are elite kind of ninjas, too. Pardo can do 49 rungs on a salmon ladder. We compete with the pros regularly, and I think that all of us have a chance at either beating them in any competition, kind of give and take for a few pros. I don't think most of us could beat Dreschel, but for the most part, we can hang with the pros, and I think it's a good platform to kind of show off how good the younger generation is, especially for one to show.
I think it pushes the pros too to their limits and makes them work harder because they know, like, hey, we got more ninjas coming in, we better start working harder.
Yeah, gotta step up their game.
Yeah.
Don't want to be beat by kids. Oh,
Yeah, so
that's
to all
pretty
you
cool.
So, to all of you pro ninjas listening right now, you better watch out. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Isaac, thank you for joining. It was an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. It was pretty great.
And, guys, look forward to more podcasts in the future. We'll have way more guests. Isaac will certainly be back on at some point. And hopefully we'll have a lot of new ninjas on in the next few podcasts. Maybe some pros. We don't know. We were discussing that a little bit here. But any final words, guys?
No, thanks for having me. I'll see some people around eventually, I guess.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.